Yes, this is Tactical Radio on Tactical United. And Manchester United drew 1-1. Last minute, Casemiro. Yes, we needed that 1-1. We didn't need to lose that game. That game was not a losable game. We played better than Chelsea. We first half we kept possession very well. We manoeuvred the ball. We had them in their half. Like listen, we didn't. So certain things I will discuss in terms of the things that have gone wrong. And there's no doubt that certain things went wrong in that game. But what I will say is that basically we did keep them in their box. We did create, we held them there and we had pressure. We had sustained pressure in the Chelsea half. And that's how I want to see Man United play every game, really, even if it's against teams at high quality. And Chelsea's not a great side at the moment, I'm not going to lie, but we still went to Stamford Bridge and did that. And, we have some positives to take from that game. The way we played in the first half, the way that we just applied that pressure and created a few chances to score, which unfortunately we didn't score. Rashford, we'll get into him in a second, but we moved the ball from left to right. We used all the players and we pushed the wing backs forward, the fullbacks forward. Obviously sometimes they tuck in and then the wingers go wide, so it creates like more possession, which is good, which what we like, what we want, and what we want to see with the Man United team. But I just think overall in the team, I think there is a little bit of a lack of quality. We have to say that. We have to say there is a lack of quality in the team. Where could we begin? Okay, let's start with Rashford, because Rashford, for example, the finishing and the desire to score, the desire to get into the box when the ball is out wide is not there. The desire to win headers in the box is not there. The movement in and around the box is not there. The finishing, the guy has had 8 big chances in the last 4 games and he has not scored a goal. That is not the level of a Man United attacking player. It's not. You cannot have 8 big chances and miss all of them. And this is a repeated history of Rashford. This is not something new that we've seen from Rashford. This is something that's happened throughout his whole career. Only under Van Gaal was he clinical. The rest of his career, he just seems to be a type of player who just misses a lot of chances. Andy Cole, he's worse than Andy Cole. At least Andy Cole scored. Like, Andy Cole was top scorer many times. This guy, Rashford, doesn't score. He does not score goals. He needs to improve. He needs to get better. I just don't think he can get better. I think the way he's striking the ball is unnecessary. I don't think he has any finesse, any technique on his finishing whatsoever. I think that he's just a winger, and I think Ten Hag needs to wake up to that. And I think we're lacking in that area. Sancho has just completely fallen off. We had a possession game. The thing is with Sancho, I thought Sancho hasn't played well because our style of play doesn't suit him. But today we had played a possession game and everything, and he wasn't really doing a lot. Like the thing is, he was occupying the winger, which their Chelsea's fullback, which was very important. And as soon as Sancho went off, we actually lost momentum in terms of how we set up. And I think the experiment of Bruno Fernandes on the left does not work whatsoever. Even though Sancho was playing poorly, the fact that we had a winger who could occupy that position and could potentially run at players and stuff like that was helping us a lot in terms of the team balance. And then when Bruno came to that left-hand side, we lost that balance. We lost the momentum in the game, and that's when we started struggling to actually do anything in that game, because Bruno isn't a left winger. Bruno isn't a false 9. Bruno is hardly an attacking midfielder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he had a great game either, to be honest with you. I think it's the thing with Bruno. The thing that frustrates me, is always going to frustrate me with Bruno Fernandes, is that he's always going to give the ball away when he doesn't have to. Like, I don't mind players giving the ball away when it's on. But Bruno Fernandes gives the ball away when it's not on. And that's what I don't like about Bruno Fernandes. And also the erraticness of his style. I just don't like it. It's just not my cup of tea, to be honest with you. I think he's a substitute. I think he's a good substitute. I think he's a good player to bring on a sub because he can inject like energy into the game, and I think that's one of his biggest assets, injecting energy. And I think that's when you're going on a stalemate or when you need a goal, you bring on Bruno Fernandes. I think that's what type of player he is for me. The quality just wasn't there today, and I think even though when we played against Tottenham, we had a deflected goal and a Bruno Fernandes goal. They say, they've said this. I don't know, because some of you guys are young, but back in the day, the saying was, your team is only as good as your strikers. And I still live by that principle, even though we're playing a systematic football style nowadays. But I still believe that the people that get you goals is going to win you games. And I think if we don't have players that can get us goals, i.e. Rashford, how can we win games? Because Sancho is not really assisting, Rashford isn't really scoring. So we have two people, and Bruno Fernandes is too inconsistent. He's not, and he's our captain, and an inconsistent captain is never a good thing to have in the team. Just because he's a 1 out of 5 game player. 1 out of 5 he'll do well, 1 out of 5 Rashford will do well, and we don't have enough quality in and around the team to with this Ten Hag ball. The quality just isn't there. The way, even though the style of play is very good, even sometimes the low doesn't deliver the cross when we should. But I understand because Rashford isn't there. It's frustrating, but we that penalty was definitely not a penalty. There's no chance that was a penalty. Did you guys see that? That was not a penalty. Never in a million years was that a penalty. That was just, it was soft. It was very soft, but it's what do we expect from McTominay? We expect him to foul and make mistakes and be awkward. That's what he does. That's what his game is. But I didn't really understand the Ten Hag substitution. I get the thing Fred for Sancho. I get the experiment. I get trying to change it up, but let's not do that again because it doesn't work. The McTominay substitution, I was not, what is going on? Why bring on McTominay? I feel like with McTominay, he just has to play every now and then. He has to have a couple minutes. He has to have a 20-minute cameo. He has to come on. I don't know why Oli, Rangnick and Ten Hag feel like they need to utilize this guy so much. I don't see what he was going to bring to this game. Even against Tottenham, he played right mid. I don't see why he's being forced to play games unless Fergie, his adopted dad, is insisting on this to happen. It must be Fergie insisting on this because I can't see anything else why he plays. I mean, these managers are obsessed with him. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but I think the Ten Hag substitutions weren't great, and I think. But I understand he tried to win the game and Casemiro came through in the end. I think Varane is a big blow. I think, Martinez and Varane are so good at the back. They are so good. It's such a good back partnership. It's for me, it's the best partnership in the Premier League. For me, Martinez is the best defender in the Premier League. I don't care what anyone tells me. I don't care what anyone tells me. He's the best defender in the Premier League. I've watched him so many times. He doesn't make mistakes. He's always in the right position. He always makes the good tackle. He always wins the ball. He always passes well. He's not bad on the ball. He's not perfect, but he's not bad on the ball. He's great. He's a great defender. And Varane, they complement each other very much. And I'm just I'm so upset that Varane is injured because not just for him, but for the team and everyone. It's just we play better when them two are there. When them two are there, I think everybody's happy in the team. And I think when Varane is not there, I think there's not this superior ethic in Manchester United. I think Ten Hag needs to really I think Ten Hag is shown that he can tactically coach his team, and his team is coming on with the performances, especially the last 2 games. I was starting to doubt if he could do it, but obviously he's managed to get something more out of the players. But he needs to see that certain players just are not working in the style that he wants. I think the style that I think, obviously he came to Man United with a sort of mentality of what he liked, but I think he needs to now, really be talking with the football director in terms of what type of player he wants in that team, because he's now assessed it and to see what we miss, and I can see what we miss. We miss a clinical striker. We need someone to challenge Bruno Fernandes. I think we need someone to challenge Bruno Fernandes. I think, I think that's the striker and someone to challenge Bruno Fernandes is pivotal. And another ball playing midfielder as well. Like, I do think, like, if you look at the wingers that we have Anthony and Rashford, Sancho. We can't spend more money on a winger. I don't see us spending any more money on wingers because it is too much. So we need to focus on the striker. We need to focus on the offensive midfielder or central midfielder, and we need to push on from there, because I think the weakness is in the attack. There is no doubt about it. I think that we are not creating enough and we're not clinical enough, and that is where the weaknesses are, clearly, because you can coach as well as you can, but people to play the right pass, and that's what we didn't do today a lot. We didn't play the final ball. We didn't play the final ball correctly, and then when we did, we didn't have the finishing, and we can't rely on Ronaldo. He's too old, so we need to bring in a finisher, someone who can score the goal, put the ball in the back of the net, clinically and professionally. Not the way Rashford does with his just like power shots. Like, I don't know what he's doing with his power shots, But yeah, I think, overall, I think Casemiro played okay. I think people are overrating him a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit, because he gives the ball away a bit. Sometimes he just gives the ball away unnecessarily. I'm not saying that's. It's a little thing that irritates me, because sometimes he just misplaces a pass just here and there every couple of minutes. I'm like, his passing is not like as crisp as I would want it to be. Eriksen is just. I think Eriksen. He's good, but I think Eriksen needs to be seen in a different light. Eriksen needs to be seen in a different light. I think he's not this first team player that we believe he is. I think he is a squad player, and we need to invest in a midfielder. I think he's a good squad player. I think he can start games, and he can be utilised, but I think the intensity of that game was too much for him. A little bit. And when he went into the number 10 role, he didn't really do a lot. But other than that, I'm very positive about the way we performed and how, especially the last two games, and how we've controlled the game. And even though Casemiro's passing isn't on point, he is a leader. He is a enforcer in that midfield. He is dominant in that midfield. He has presence in that midfield. I think the players have responded around him, which is very good. I think Anthony is an amazing player. I think Shaw is playing well at the moment. Defense is playing well at the moment. I just think Sancho and Rashford, Bruno to a certain degree, but not fully, but definitely Sancho and Rashford, like, aren't really producing anything to make us win games, and that is where we are definitely going wrong. So I think for the next game, we need to consider, let's just give the player ratings quickly. De Gea is 6, Luke Shaw 7, Martinez 6.5, Varane is a 6 because he got injured, Delo is a 6, Casemiro is at 7.5, Eriksen's a 6, Bruno's a 6, Sancho's a 4, Rashford's a 4. It's not because he's a threat. Don't get me wrong, Rashford is a threat, but he just hasn't scored. And I think Anthony was a 7, to be honest with you, because he was doing so much work on that right hand side, and I really feel sorry for Anthony, because he's not getting the rewards for his efforts, because the team is not up to his level. That's bad. That's bad right now for where we want to be. you know, we need everyone to be at a certain level together. We can't have one player looking way better than most of the other players. Like, you know, consistently Martinez, Anthony, Varane, you know, Delo, and Luke Shaw, I have to say, Casemiro, these guys consistently are there. Yeah? That lot that I just mentioned are consistently there. The rest aren't. And that's where the issue is that we're having at the moment. There's not a level within the whole team. And that's the struggle for Ten Hag right now. And that's where we need to really have a director of football and everyone working towards that. But I just don't think we have that at Man United. And that's another complete different issue. Anyway, I'm Tactical Red, Tactical United. Have a good day. 1-1 Man United, Chelsea. I would say Ten Hag is not to blame, but that Fred substitution kind of killed the momentum. Should have maybe brought on Elanga for Sancho, maybe in hindsight. But I understand why he did it. I get it. I get why he did it. But in hindsight, Elanga was better.